write these facts. If you cannot do this, return to the background material. You might also discover a need for additional factual information. And background research into facts, also one thinking point. If you determine that your boss or the client did not give you enough factual information to answer the issues intelligently, go back and ask for more information, assuming the well is dry. Or the professor who assigned the work will not tell you anything else. You will perform your research with what you already know, or turn to alternative sources of factual information. And also, you will be helped to obtain background information of how to do it kind. The background information you need may simply consist of how-to information in area of law. How-to sources include your colleagues and other attorneys, practice guides and clean materials, the actual agency or court involved, or pleading and practice form books. So, now, you consider planning your research. At formulating the question, you must come up with a plan for finding the sources to answer each issue. You should divide your plan into categories. How are you going to find primary controlling authorities, primary possessive authorities, secondary authorities, sources for checking and validating your authorities? It is advisable actually to write up a plan of action and follow it. Write down the sources you will use and the order in which you will use them. Leave space in your plan outline to make notes on what you checked. Keep a good record of everything that you find, including what is stated and the citation and page number. This last piece of advice will save you hours of frustration in the future when you cannot find the same book on the shelf, or the library is closed, or you cannot quite remember the name of the case that says something crucial about certain element of legal law. So the experience in the law libraries would be diverse. In some cases, you'll be frustrated with loss of item orders. So you may return to seek out help about its location in some cases. But so it is actually wise to keep notes about bases and elements you are required of. Actually, card catalog has long been used in the practice of law library. So the students and professors have been present to use that port catalog. So actually, that practice now has been altered, especially as influenced from new developments such as electronic source of legal information. And of course, our fear is the paper holdings would be discarded. In that case, we may be upset with a loss of denial. And I'm also concerned of a kind of e-newspapers, the electronic sources. They often save one sealed version in print form. I'm not sure. However, I'm afraid if the loss of actually closure of the website would mean any permanent loss of that material, legal electronic. So the kind of challenge is imposing in terms of library practice. And actually, library science is one of discipline in social science. So actually, the librarians will be an expert in that specific field. The context of development has been the concern of them ourselves. However, we share that sorrow and fear. So, what strategy about managers of website may determine in some cases, and in that concern, a well-prepared record of findings also can be used as a skeleton outline of your written word product, which you later can flesh out, turn into proper treatment of the issues. For example, as you research, you probably will learn that there are X number of required elements for the issue, and 2 or 3 exceptions to the rule, and X number of differences to the rule. Writing them down in your notes or your funding will create a skeleton outline of the rule section of your written word product. As you find authorities to provide the sub-rules, factors, policies, considerations, or simply provide explanation or clarification of any of the items in the outline, you can fill in the information in the proper sections of the treatment of the main issue and elements as you proceed along in your research. Then when you start, you will have a very complete skeleton outline of the actual word product you will draft. If you can fill in the skeleton outline on a laptop computer as you go along, even better. So, how do you receive these advices in your experience? Have you ever? So, actually, the online sources are ever expanding, as you see, and the businesses industry that concern flourishes in reality. And also, you will have some help from traditional wisdom. So the kind of key aspect of research practice will not change, nevertheless. So skeleton outline will help you out, I consider. And now you'll think about performing the research. So 4.3, what determines the scope of the research? And consider a sample research plans. In that concern, you will assume several circumstances. For example, you may have lots of time, so expense is not an issue. But you are not familiar, and in that case, whether or not you're familiar with this area of law is perhaps irrelevant. Let us consider the second possibility of situation when you cannot or do not want to spend much time, but you are well familiar with this area though. Then what do you need to prefer anyway to actually go for the job? Try first to find controlling primary authorities. Verify and validate your authority to check the key site. In that case, if a statute, rule, or administrative regulation is on point, work through the steps of Plan 1 and read the cases cited in the annotations on your topic. To use Western or Lexis or Digest and look for cases on point. You may get the answer right here, right now. Quickly consider three types for restatement and check to make sure your results are in line with established authority. Check a complete publication, ALR, or even one or more law review article, just to make sure that there has not been a significant new change in the law in the last few months. Research other second sources, probably not enough time, but so if you know one specifically on point, especially one specific to specialized area. And in some cases, you cannot or do not want to spend much time, but you are not familiar with this area of the law. And this is a conundrum. You need time, but you do not have the time. If the issue is money, not time per se, consider doing the background research described above as non-available time. If the issue really is time, I only have X days to do this, reverse the plan, so that you at least read the restatement or 3 times 4 and do the plan 1 research for a problem involving a statute, rule, or administrative regulation, and then run case law searches online or with digest. In this way, you have a better chance of figuring out the big picture, all the issues and differences in constitutional problems. People were zeroing in on individual cases. Do not fail to verify your sources with Shepherd or Kisa. You will not do anyone any good if you support better law to them, if you report better law to them. So it is essential to check out with Shepherd or Kisa. So keep record good on this legal point. It is actually central stage as legal research. And in this case, you will be much aided with second sources and much background research involving materials of other disciplines, social science, psychology, and others. And that would not be as a matter of time charge if you're expensive lawyer. Okay, thank you for your attention. Any questions? Last student, perhaps. Get away. Pick up this one. Thank you. Let me have your name. 오경준,
예.
김상현,
예.
신승호, 박상민, 박근호, 김현차,
예.
김성현,
예.
최재희, 김서우, 노남수, 이건철,
예.
고건희, 이건철,
예.
최민길, 송만승, 이경희, 정유철,
예.
최재희, 김서우, 정기영, 박상민, 김상현,
예.
오경준,
예.
김성현,
예.
김현창.
진짜.
아유, 나 뒤에 또 적혀 있어가지고.